I want to start with the overview of what actually happened. We'll get into the subterfuge and all of that. So Israel began last night, overnight, before the sun came up in Iran, engaging in a series of military attacks. According to the Israelis, in one night they ran 5 separate missions from Israel to Iran, back to refuel, back again, back to refuel, back again, taking out a variety of targets. The Iranian military leadership was meeting with many of the nuclear scientists. Many of those people are now dead. Massively successful attack by Israel. The United States said it was not directly involved. Marco Rubio released a statement saying that we were not directly involved and that Israel did it on its own. Whether we were involved or not, and we'll get to that. Israel used our F-35s that are so stealthy that an Iranian MiG could be right underneath one of the F-35s and have no idea there was a plane above them. That's how stealthy the F-35 is. It's remarkable plane. The F-22 is even better and more advanced, but as a buddy of mine was telling me last night, we don't even let people look at the F-22. We don't sell it to anybody. We'll give anybody the F-35. The F-22 is the superior plane. The F-35, though, Israel got, and Israel modified it to its specification. And it took out massive capabilities from Iran last night. We know that Iran then decapitated at the military level, the Iranian military chief of staff gone, ranking generals gone, and they attempted to launch drones to attack Israel. And the 100 drones that Iran launched in reciprocity were shot out of the sky and never made it into Israeli territory. It was a remarkable sight to behold. Now let me get to the 2 theories, one of which was floated by someone in the know, but he says it's speculation on his part. And I want to give you both of the takes. The first take is the unflattering take to Trump. It's not my take. His take, and the take of those around him, and by the way, he is involved in the intelligence community, is that take Donald Trump at his word. He doesn't have impulse control. He struggles to keep secrets. He did not want Israel to attack Iran. Israel attacked Iran and began leaking that the Americans were involved when they realized the attack was such a success to get Donald Trump involved for what comes next. That Trump didn't want it to happen, but they came out and said, oh, Donald Trump helped us. Donald Trump's a genius. Donald Trump did this. Now Trump's like, yeah, I'm a genius. Of course I helped. And he did help. That's take one. You need to understand that take exists out there. Here's my take. When I was in junior high school, I had a teacher who later in life I learned actually worked for the CIA, even while he was my teacher. And he gave us in our class really good advice. He said, never keep a secret. Be the guy whose reputation is that you can't keep secret, so that when you have a secret to keep, no one thinks you're keeping secrets. Now listen, I don't mean to make any of you mad or feel insulted. I know I'm going to get hate mail. Some of you are too sensitive to handle the conversation, but I'm going to say something that sounds like an insult, and in this case it's not, and I just need you to prepare because some of you are going to get your hackles up. Donald Trump was very good at being a man known for no impulse control, and when he was cheating on his wives, they had no idea. They had no idea. He was able to have the reputation of an incapability of keeping secrets. So the secret he wanted to keep, his affairs, he kept those secrets pretty darn good. My suspicion is Donald Trump does tend to lack impulse control. You know, the marshmallow test. Do you take the marshmallow immediately or do you wait and you get more later? He tends to lack impulse control, but in a situation like this, I think Trump can rise to the occasion. I think Trump is capable of keeping certain secrets, and other secrets he has to unburden himself with. And in this case, it's remarkable. Look, I just want to give you the timeline. 61 days before Israel struck Iran, Donald Trump told Iran, you've got 60 days to come to the table. On the 61st day, Israel struck. Now, here are bits and pieces that I know this morning. 1, Israel had to use our satellite capacities because they didn't have the satellite capabilities to be able to make the run. So we had to be involved in that capacity. 2, talk to multiple people who are very familiar with what Israel has and can fly, and they all are unanimous There's no way Israel was able to make 5 repeat runs to Iran last night without some level of midair refueling in a capacity that only we have for the F-35. We had to have been involved. I know Rubio came out and said, we're not involved. And that was good, because in the initial wave of reciprocity, Iran could have targeted American personnel. But Rubio came out and forcefully denied, we're not involved, we have no idea. Remember, and this is very important too, we know this is a fact, even though it got underplayed by the media, that during the Biden administration, Iranian agents embedded within our defense infrastructure and our intelligence infrastructure. So here comes Rubio and Trump saying, it's not us, we have nothing to do with it. And internally, the conversations are all about Iran, come to the table. We want Iran to come to the table. We're sending Witkoff over there to negotiate. We're going to send our representative to Saudi Arabia. We're going to do all of these things. Iran, come to the table. Iran, come to the table. And Iran thought it was headed to the table. Internally, the discussions were all about peace. Any Iranian agents still within defense or intelligence, they would have been completely obfuscated, completely obstructed, completely turned upside down. I think we just engaged in master subterfuge with the Israelis. And you know, the left today is struggling on how do we attack Donald Trump. Do we attack him by saying that the Israelis didn't respect his wishes, or do we attack him for lying to the American people? Presidents have a history in this country, going back to George Washington, of not being fully candid with the American public at times for our best interests. And it is in our best interests to sometimes be told things that aren't actually true. You can deny that all you want, but you know deep down it's true. Is it better for us to have plausible deniability of something happening and public statements saying it's not true so that we can do something, but in the process minimize American casualties? And the position today is actually that we had no involvement, but behind the scenes, people are saying, "Oh yeah, we've been coordinating for weeks." Here's what happened: the President of the United States and Benjamin Netanyahu several weeks ago had a very firm and angry conversation that was leaked, telling Netanyahu, "Do not bomb Iran. Do not do it." On Monday, according to Israeli sources and now American sources, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu had a private conversation outlining how Israel was going to proceed with taking out the Iranian nuclear factories and nuclear enrichment facilities and scientists and leadership. And then publicly, both men on both sides leaked that Donald Trump spent his time urging Benjamin Netanyahu to not do it. And then Donald Trump came out the other day and said, I think an attack, it could be imminent. I don't want the attack. I don't want to. I'm sending my representative back to the Middle East. I want to sit down with the Iranians. I do not want Netanyahu to do anything. I want one more chance. I think we're close. And then Benjamin Netanyahu leaked that his son is going to get married on Monday. And he was going with his family up to northern Israel, to the mountains, to rest before the wedding. And Israel's top military leadership said, the President of the United States has told us not to do anything. We're standing down. We're all going home for the weekend. And then in the middle of the night, they all met up at headquarters. They got U.S. Central Command on the phone. They turned the satellites towards Iran. They got the midair refuelers in the air. And they decapitated the Iranian central military leadership. In Israel, it's true, we weren't involved. We didn't launch weapons. We didn't blow anybody up. Israel did everything. Israel did it all. We just kept our eyes open for them through the satellites. We kept their planes fueled. We didn't want them falling out of the sky. After all, they're our assets. We didn't want them getting into Iranian hands. We didn't bomb anybody. We weren't involved. Marco Rubio was right. Donald Trump was right. Doesn't matter, though. The Ayatollah believes that we are the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. That's what he calls us. The United States is the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. And it is my hope that last night the great Satan and the little Satan sent the Ayatollah to see the OG Satan. It was a fiery but mostly peaceful protest in Iran last night by Israel over Iran's nuclear capabilities. And the chief of staff of the Iranian military, General Salami, is now General Bologna, with Swiss cheese holes in him. He's gone. The head of the Iranian Republican Revolutionary Guard, gone. The senior leadership of the nuclear program, gone. The uranium centrifuges for refining the uranium, gone. The facility where the bombs were being made, gone. The oil refinery that was producing oil to sell to China to be able to fund the project, gone. The Iranian drone manufacturing facility, gone. Israel says it's going to last 2 weeks. They're going to keep it up. They decapitated senior leadership. They struck Iran's capacity to make drones and produce oil to sell to fund its efforts, and they're going to keep it up. And Iran's response has thus far proven anemic. Doesn't mean they can't respond. It doesn't mean they won't respond. It doesn't mean Israelis won't die. But the fact that the Arab world, the Chinese, and others are all kind of sitting back and amazed, it's remarkable. Israel did the whole world a favor. And I would note that only the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens of the world and the clear anti-Semites are the ones out there upset about what Israel did. All these people have said, we need to stay out of it. We need to stay out of it. If Israel wants to do it, Israel can do it, but keep us out of it. Israel kept us out of it. Israel did it. And now they're complaining about Israel doing it themselves. They're going to drag us into a war. I would note how these people never complain. When Iran attacks, they never complained that, we might get dragged into a war. Look at what Iran did. Nope, it's only when Israel responds. Only when Israel does something are they like, we could get dragged into a war. They're not anti-war, they're anti-Israel. Daryl Cooper, Tucker Carlson's favorite historian, came out last night and said, we need to bomb Tel Aviv. Yes, Daryl Cooper, the historian some of you love, came out last week and admitted he is a National Socialist, that is, a Nazi, and last night urged the bombing of Tel Aviv. This guy's been platformed by Tucker Carlson as Tucker Carlson's favorite historian. He's been platformed by Joe Rogan. Why are we platforming Nazis who want to bomb the Jews? I stand with Israel on this. And you should too. When we come back, the lay of the land today and just how involved were we? We don't actually know yet. We assume we're going to be finding out soon exactly how involved we were. My assumption is that we were significantly involved, but again, we didn't actually fire bombs or launch bombs. We just coordinated the intelligence.